And now, the IASB, under more pressure and facing more flack, this time from an MEP. With me is Penny Sukhraj. Penny, you've been in Brussels very recently. You've spoken to MEPs over there, and they're not quite happy with the way that the IASB has dealt with or reacted to the credit crunch.
Yeah, Gavin. Certainly, as fair value has come under the spotlight, and it's been quite a struggle between business and the standard setters, the politicians have started to, this is on their radar now, particularly fair value. They've been expecting the IASB to come up with something better, possibly a proposal to ensure that it doesn't produce highly unsatisfactory results anymore. And this was particularly the view of German MEP Wolf Klintz, who essentially expected the IASB to actually work the standard over in some way.
Now, IASB has faced a lot of criticism from Europe in the past. Really, it's their job to whinge about the standard setter, isn't it?
Some might argue that. I think it is their job to hold bodies like the IASB accountable, and they take the wider view. And I think that's a necessary thing. This particular complaint about fair value is not just a whinge moment for the politicians. I think they're really starting to see how it is crippling some of their markets. And the IASB, although it has been quite static insofar as its viewpoint, announced this week that it has appointed another working group to look into fair value again, and they kick off with discussions in June.
So but they're on an accelerated route, though, to examine fair value, as I understand it.
They're on an accelerated route to look at other standards which relate to off-balance sheet structures.
Right. Which is a core issue at the heart of the credit crunch.
Yes, it is. With regards to fair value, they're really looking to see how they can possibly look at some of the models used to clarify how preparers can use the standard so that it can actually take into account assets whose values have bottomed out in difficult trading conditions. Okay.
And now, despite the criticism from MEPs and the flack that's also come from some of the US banks, we don't actually expect Sir David Tweedie to overhaul fair value, dump it entirely, do we?
I think it's highly unlikely. I think the IASB would modify the standard. I think that a lot of the financial world is starting to understand that this is really the future of valuations, and that institutions have to come on board and start to redress the way they actually look at their own assets, etc. And going forward, market value is going to be much more important than historical cost.
And on a personal note, does Sir David Tweedie really feel political pressure from what you know of him?
I think he must. He might not admit it, but I'm sure he must.
Okay, well, we'll see how things turn out. Thank you very much. And that's all from this week's Accountancy Age Big Question webcast. We'll be back again at the same time and in the same place next week. Thank you, bye-bye.